This blade isn't just a weapon, it's a story. A tale of betrayal, vengeance, and the dark price of power. Prepare to be transported to a world where the lines between hero and villain blur, in the story of the cursed blade of Ares. Chapter 1. The Legend of Ares. Long ago, in an age when gods walked among mortals, there was a forge hidden deep within the mountains. The forge burned with the fire of Ares, god of war. It was a place of heat, of smoke, of steel shaped for battle. No mortal dared go near. Only one man was chosen to work there, a blacksmith named Dorian. Dorian was known across the land. His hands were strong as iron. His heart was steady, his skill unmatched. He had crafted blades for kings, spears for heroes, armor that glowed like the sun. But this task was greater than all before. Ares came to him one night. His voice was like thunder. His eyes burned like coals. "Dorian," the god said, "forge me a blade worthy of war's god." Dorian bowed. He dared not refuse, but he felt a cold fear in his bones. For days Dorian worked. He shaped steel that came from the heart of the mountain. He folded it again and again. He sharpened it until it could slice a hair. He carved symbols of power along its edge. The hammer rang out through the mountain halls. The fire roared. The anvil sang. Dorian's hands bled from his labor. His eyes burned from smoke. But he did not stop. This was his greatest work, his final gift to the world. When the blade was done, it shone with a dark light. It seemed to hum with power. It was beautiful and terrible. Ares smiled when he saw it, but his smile was cold. "This blade will bring victory," the god said, "but victory has a price." Without another word, Ares took the blade and vanished, but the blade left behind a shadow, a curse. The gods whispered of it. They said the blade was too powerful, that its steel drank the blood of the fallen, that it grew stronger with every life it took, that it whispered to its wielder, urging them to seek battle, to crave war, to trust no one. The curse was hidden in the steel, woven into the blade like a dark thread. No man could hold it without feeling its pull. And what of Dorian? When the blade left his hands, his strength faded. His fire went out. His forge fell silent. The blacksmith, who had given the world its deadliest weapon, disappeared. Some say he was taken by the gods. Some say he wandered the earth, seeking to undo his work. Some say he watches still, waiting for the blade's end. The blade passed from god to man, from hero to king, from hand to hand, always bringing victory, and always leaving ruin. No one kept it for long. The blade chose its wielder, and the curse claimed them. It came at last to a new warrior, a man of honor, a man who swore to use the blade for good, but even the noblest heart can fall to the curse. Chapter 2. The First Warrior. The blade waited. For years it lay untouched on cold stone. Kings feared it, soldiers dreamed of it, but dared not claim it. The stories of its curse spread like fire. A blade of victory, yes, but a blade that brought ruin to all who held it. Then came a warrior named Calin. Calin was known across the land, not for cruelty, not for greed, but for courage. He fought for the weak. He stood against tyrants. He believed in honor above all. Calin heard the stories of the cursed blade. He knew the warnings. But his people were at war. An enemy marched across the land. Towns burned. Families fled. The sky filled with smoke and sorrow. Calin stood at the edge of the battlefield and looked to the mountains. There, the blade waited. And so, he climbed. For 3 days and nights, Calin journeyed, through storms that tore at his cloak, across stones that cut his feet, up paths where no birds sang. At last he reached the altar. There lay the blade, dark steel, sharp as shadow, a hum of power in the air. Kaelin knelt. He whispered a prayer, not for victory, but for wisdom. Then he took the blade in his hands. The blade felt alive. It was warm to the touch. It seemed to breathe with him. It felt right and wrong, all at once. Kaelin felt strength flood his body, a strength beyond his own. He returned to his army, blade in hand. The soldiers stared in wonder. Their leader had claimed the cursed weapon. Kaelin raised it high. The sun caught its edge. The wind seemed to pause. The first battle was swift. Kaelin fought like no man before him. His strikes were sure. His blade cut through shields and spears as if they were paper. The enemy fled before him. Each battle after was the same. Victory after victory. The people cheered his name. They called him savior. They called him hero. But in the quiet of night, Kaelin felt the blade's weight, not in his hands, in his heart. The blade whispered to him. It spoke of more battles, of more enemies, of more glory. Kaelin began to crave the fight. At first he fought only to protect. Then he fought to win. Then he fought because the blade urged him to. His soldiers saw the change. Kaelin no longer smiled after victory. His eyes grew cold. His words grew few. He trusted no one. The blade's power filled him, but it left him empty. One night, Kaelin stood alone on a hill. Below, a village lay in peace. There was no enemy, no battle. But still, the blade urged him. It hungered for more. Kaelin clenched the hilt. His hands shook. He realized the truth. The blade was winning. He had thought to use its power, but now it used him. Kaelin wept for what he had lost, for what he might still lose. Chapter 3. The Betrayal. Kaelin's name spread far and wide. Some called him the savior of the land. Others called him the cursed blade's servant. Victory followed him, but so did fear. His enemies feared his sword. His friends feared his change. The blade's curse worked quietly. It whispered in Kaelin's mind. It clouded his heart. The man who once fought for honor now fought for conquest. He no longer saw friend or foe, only battlefields. Among those closest to him was Erendor, once Kaelin's most trusted ally, a brother in arms. Erendor had fought beside him in every battle. He had shared in every victory. He had watched Kaelin rise, and he had watched Kaelin fall. Erendor saw the blade's work. He saw how it fed on Kaelin's soul, how it twisted his purpose. He tried to speak. "Kaelin," he said, "lay down the blade. Let us end this war." But Kaelin's eyes, once warm, had grown hard. His voice was cold. "I will stop when the land is safe," Kaelin said. But the land was already safe, and still Kaelin fought on. Erendor feared for Kaelin, and for all who followed him. So Erendor went to the king. The king listened as Erendor spoke, of Kaelin's change, of the blade's curse, of the danger that grew with every battle. The king sighed. "I owe Kaelin my throne," he said, "but I see the truth in your words." And so, a plan was made. Erendor wept as he agreed to it, but he saw no other way. They would take the blade from Kaelin, by force, if needed. The next dawn, Kaelin rode to battle once more. His men followed, though their hearts were heavy. But this time, the enemy was not beyond the hill. It was behind him. As Kaelin charged ahead, his men turned. They surrounded him. "Lay down the blade," Erendor cried. Kaelin stared in shock. Betrayed. His friend, his brother, had turned against him. The blade burned in Kaelin's hand. Its curse roared in his mind. "They would take us," it seemed to whisper. "They would see us weak." Kaelin raised the sword. His hand shook. He saw the faces of his men who had followed him through fire, men who now begged him to stop. He saw Arundel, tears on his cheeks, sword lowered. "Please, Kaelin," Arundel said. "Let it go." Kaelin's heart broke. He wanted to lower the blade. He wanted to step away. But the curse gripped him tight. A storm broke above. Rain poured down. Thunder rolled. Kaelin fell to his knees. The blade slipped from his grasp. It hit the ground with a sound like a cry. His men rushed forward. They took the blade, wrapped it in chains, buried it deep. Kaelin wept in the rain. For what he had done. For what he had become. The betrayal was done, but it had saved him. Or so they hoped. Chapter 4. The Path of Redemption. The blade lay buried beneath stone and earth, its dark power sealed in chains. But its memory remained. Kaelin could feel it still, in his dreams, in his bones, in the silence between heartbeats. He left his army. He left his crown of victory. He left all he had gained through the blade's strength. He walked alone. Kaelin wandered the land he had once fought for. He saw the fields, burned by war, the villages, broken by battle, the faces of people who remembered the hero and feared the man. He sought peace, but peace would not come. Each night, Kaelin dreamed of the blade. He saw its edge, shining in darkness. He heard its voice, soft as the wind. "Come back," it whispered. "Your power waits. Your glory waits." Kaelin woke with a cry, sweat cold on his brow. He knew what he must do. If the blade could not be silenced in chains, he would find a way to break the curse. Kaelin set out on a quest. He climbed mountains where only the gods walked. He crossed deserts where the sun showed no mercy. He sailed seas where no stars guided the way. He sought answers, from wise men who lived in caves, from oracles who spoke in riddles, from priests who feared to name the blade. All told him the same. The curse is strong, stronger than steel, stronger than fire, stronger than any man's will. But Kaelin did not stop. He had wielded the blade. He had fed its hunger. He would be the one to end it. At last, Kaelin came to a ruined temple, a place forgotten by time. There, an old seer waited. Her eyes were pale as the moon. Her voice was soft as falling ash. "You seek to end what cannot end," she said. "I must try," Kaelin answered. The seer nodded. "There is only one way," she said. "You must give all you are, all you have. You must become the blade's last sacrifice." Kaelin bowed his head. "I will do what I must," he said. The seer gave him a task. "Return to the place where the blade sleeps. Stand where you first raised it. Speak these words and give your soul to the gods." Kaelin thanked the seer. He turned and began his final journey. The road was long, but his steps were steady. Each mile brought him closer to the blade. Each mile brought him closer to peace. At last, Kaelin stood once more on the hill. Rain fell, as it had on the day he let the blade go. He knelt at the stone that marked the blade's grave. He spoke the seer's words, words of ending, words of release. The ground trembled, lightning split the sky. The stone cracked. The earth opened. The blade rose, but its light was gone. Its voice was silent. Kaelin reached for it. He took it in his hands one last time. The blade was cold, lifeless. Kaelin closed his eyes. He felt the curse lift. He felt its weight fall away. He laid the blade on the stone, and with it, he laid down his burden. Chapter 5. The Aftermath. The storm passed. The blade lay still upon the stone. Its dark glow was gone. Kaelin stood in the quiet. The wind brushed his face. The first light of dawn touched the land. The curse had ended, but the cost remained. Kaelin left the hill. He walked through the villages he had once defended, through the fields that had felt the weight of war. The people saw him, and they saw not a hero, nor a warrior, nor a cursed man. They saw Kaelin, a man who had fought, a man who had fallen, a man who had risen again. His story spread. They spoke of the blade. They spoke of its curse. They spoke of Kaelin's sacrifice. Fathers told their sons. Mothers told their daughters. Power is not always a gift, they said. Strength is not in the blade. Strength is in the choice to lay it down. The blade was left upon the hill. No one dared claim it. No one dared touch it. It became a warning, a reminder of what had been, and what must never be again. The land healed, slowly. The fields turned green once more, the rivers ran clear, the villages rose stronger. Kaelin's name became legend, but not as a man who conquered, not as a man who ruled, as a man who chose peace. Children climbed the hill where the blade lay. They placed flowers upon the stone, and they whispered thanks. Kaelin lived out his days in quiet. He worked the earth with his hands. He tended gardens. He mended what was broken. He spoke little of the blade, but his eyes carried its memory. And when his time came, the people laid him to rest upon the hill. Beside the blade, they carved words into the stone. Here lies Kaelin, who bore the blade, who broke its curse, who showed us the true cost of power. The blade remained, but no hand reached for it again. It rusted in the rain. It was buried by time, but its lesson endured. And so, the tale of the cursed blade of Ares lived on. A tale of war, a tale of betrayal, a tale of sacrifice, and above all, a tale of choice. And so, the tale of the cursed blade comes to a close. A reminder that true strength lies not in power, but in the choices we make. The legend of Kaelin lives on, warning all who seek glory at any cost. What would you have done if you held the blade? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through lore and lunacy, please subscribe for more timeless myths and dark legends. Your support keeps these stories alive.